Oh yeah, back at Universal Studios Hollywood and starting off with the parking structure project. Oh yeah, a lot of work happening this week. And I still don't know where they're going to start with the vertical construction. I don't know if they're going to start closest to the parking structure or if they're going to start out there. They're doing a lot of digging and playing in the dirt. And we're digging a couple trenches down over here, but those have since been filled. There's another one over here. And they're kind of toying around with the center of the project. So yeah, I'll be keeping an eye on it. Exciting stuff continues to happen. I'm looking forward to eventually see what, it's going to look like over there too. And before we officially get started with the theme park, hello everyone, my name is Dylan and thank you so much for tuning back into another theme park obsession video. We're going to be hanging out at Universal Studios Hollywood today to mainly check up on the Fast and the Furious coaster. So let's not waste any more time and dive right in. I've officially made it in the park and yeah, it is busy today on this Monday afternoon. They are making some coin today. And then up here in the front, something I've noticed is that they're getting ready for FanFest nights, which starts in April. They have some show lighting on the tops of the buildings over here, very similar to what they do with Halloween Horror Nights. And then over here at the Universal Plaza, look, we have some more stage lighting ready to go. Yeah, it's giving me Halloween Horror Nights vibes, but nope, that's a few more months away. Alrighty, let's get to the real stuff here. The most exciting thing happening at the park right now, and that is the Fast and the Furious coaster construction. Again, this track work looks so good in person. If you have the opportunity to hit up Universal Studios Hollywood and enjoy your day, well, yeah, take some time to enjoy this too, because it's looking so good. That building, the show building, is just so massive. And I wonder if that's the final look. I wonder if they're gonna add anything else to it, or if that's it. And we still got a really nice view into the maintenance bay there, where eventually the coaster cars will show up. But since I've been here, they've done a lot of work over in this corner over here. You can see right after the wave turn, they've installed so many pieces of track. So much so that the layout is almost done. They don't have that many more pieces to go. Now this right here, this is the straightaway. This is another couple sections of booster track that will, one, get us up and over the dive loop and into the stall. So the one closest to the left is right before the dive loop element, and then the one on the right is the straightaway that goes into the stall. And they are so massive. I mean, look at how far the booster LSMs go, especially up into that element. Looks like it stops right about there. How cool, that's awesome. And then you can see right there, there's the end of the track work. Yeah, only a couple more pieces to complete that dive loop. So you see where the supports are already installed. And the inversion will go up a little bit higher than the supports will. And then it'll dive back down to where that straightaway section is. Let me go ahead and get that shot for you. Yeah, that looks so good. Again, you can see the scale just with the construction crews next to it, how large that piece of track is. Since we have that little bunny hop right there, I wonder if that's going to give us a nice little pop of airtime before we head into that dive loop. And then also over here, this little hill right before the stall, since we're going to be boosted quite a bit, this will be probably the fastest portion of the ride. I wonder if we'll get a nice little pop of airtime right there too, right underneath the wave turn. Again, like I've mentioned before, this ride might have a lot of surprise moments, just like Velocicoaster did when that one opened up. When I watched that ride be constructed, and there were some things in the layout that I was like, okay, that's going to give us some airtime, that's going to be good. But then when you ride it and you experience those little surprises, you're like, oh, dang. So I have a feeling that this one is also going to contain a few little surprises that we're just not aware of, and we're only going to be able to experience once we ride. I wouldn't be surprised if they finish this element within this next coming week. I don't think the track work is going to be that much longer, which will be awesome, because then maybe by late April into May, they'll do a pull-through test to make sure everything's ready to go. But this element right here, this is going to look so cool, especially from the freeway. You will see this from the freeway, no doubt. I'm not noticing any movement on the sound wall. That probably won't start back up until the track layout is done. So maybe here in the next couple weeks, when the track work is done, they'll move back to the sound wall and complete that, because it's going to be going all the way over here towards the escalator. And then Once the track work is complete, they're also going to have to install those shields that go over, the screen shields that go over some portions of the track that look very similar to the ones that are on the escalator over there off in the distance. So eventually those will go up and over the dive loop element to help mitigate that sound a little bit. Because remember, they don't want any of that sound to travel into the studio. How cool though. I'm so happy I was able to get back to the park. It's my first time in a little bit. So the progress continues to be earth-shattering. I mean, they're just moving so fast on this entire thing. It didn't really take them that long at all to build this entire layout and the massive show building. So yeah, I'm digging the progress. And then around the corner over here, near the front of the building, yeah, the scrim is coming down, and it looks like the scaffolding is gonna start coming down here too. I've noticed on the sides that scaffolding has come down. So yeah, it looks like we have a nearly finished product on our hands. And again, I've said it like a million times, the building is so large, it just really sticks out. So I'm wondering again, if this is just a precursor to what might eventually come to the park after Fast and the Furious, because these other buildings, yeah, they just don't really fit in with the overall theme. So I will be keeping an eye on this little plaza in front of Hogsmeade. Overall though, some really, really good progress. It's gonna be nice to have the scaffolding come down, and eventually the construction fence might be moved, and hopefully we'll get some new trees over in this area too. Made it over here to the escalator side of the project, and you can see they have finished the concrete work down there. This is probably an access point so they can service the roller coaster on a daily basis. Makes sense. But yeah, it looks like they've completed that entire section. And then on the flip side of things, it looks like they're getting ready to take down the scaffolding on this side as well. Yeah, it's looking good. And then over there, right where there's going to be another LSM boost, you can see they've installed some more support structure for the catwalks that will go there, so they look just like those ones. I got to put those in first, and then the LSM boost will go in, and then this section will be done. So yeah, some really good progress since my last visit. It still just trips me out how big this project is. You really don't get a sense of scale in the videos and photos. You got to be here in person to see truly how large this project is. It really is a monumentous task. And also from this vantage point, we get a really nice view into the beginnings of the dive loop and that straightaway where that massive section of LSMs is going to be installed before we get into the stall. Yeah, that looks so good. Look at that curvature up into the dive loop. That's going to be so much fun. Pretty intense, I would assume, too, because remember, those are all going to be filled with LSMs. Pretty much like right here all the way down closest to the wave turn. Yeah, I would assume maybe, let's see, 5 or 6 pieces of track that'll go in right there next to the tree line. And again, it'll go higher than that support. So it's not just going to stop right there. It's going to go maybe a little bit higher before it starts the inversion. And because of the speed, you never know. It might feel very similar to the first 2 elements on Velocicoaster for those that have been on that coaster. So maybe if we're lucky, a nice little surprise moment of airtime. Moving on to the Hillside project, here's your current look. And as you can see, they've been leveling this out quite a bit and at a rapid pace, just like the coaster construction. They're not messing around. And they even have some new equipment on site to drill into the ground, maybe to get rid of, or not get rid of something, but to get ready for some sort of retaining wall. I think that's what they're doing here. So this might be the start of rebar going into the hill to then support a concrete wall. So that's what it looks like, which would then free up a lot of space in this area for them to possibly do something to this area of the lower lot. Remember, a long time ago, the studio tour entrance was down over here. That was before they built Revenge of the Mummy, so I don't know if they'd be able to do that again. It's very possible, though. They could do something. And this is all probably why they haven't started the Halloween Horror Nights construction over here either. Usually around this time of year, we see a tent pop up for the Revenge of the Mummy haunted house, but so far they haven't done that, and it's, yeah, again, probably because of all of this work happening over here. But speaking of Horror Nights, a tent has popped up at the surface lot next to Curious George. So I don't know if I'm going to ride the tram today just to get a shot of that. I might have to do it maybe next time, but just to let you know, for those that are wondering, yeah, they have officially started Halloween Horror Nights construction. But very interesting developments over here. I just think it's a massive retaining wall, but also, like I've mentioned before, another precursor as to what might be happening here on the lot, because all these sound stages over here, I have a feeling, are not going to be here for very long. And this is all very questionable over here as well. You can see some work is happening on this side of the hill, so maybe this will all be shaved down as well. I don't know, something's happening. Something big is happening. And if they get rid of 14 all the way up through 19 and 24, if they get rid of all this, they can double the size of the lower lot and build another 2 lands if they wanted to, maybe adding 4 or 5 new attractions. So that would be a huge win for Hollywood. And this could just be the start of it because, yeah, they're already messing around with this side of the park. Okay, let's switch gears as I slowly make my way out of the park. The plaza is closed. I forgot to talk about this a little bit earlier, but it looks like they're going to start preparations for the Universal FanFest nights here in the next few weeks. Yeah, I'm really excited for that. I think it's going to be a really big hit for the park because remember, it's very similar to the Halloween Horror Nights event, but this time it's not going to be scary and they'll still have all these cool little things just scattered around the park. Now, one thing I did want to mention about the Universal FanFest nights is the food, because they're going to have a bunch of food offerings available every event night. But something that they recently just announced was the addition of like a tasting lanyard that you can purchase and be able to try multiple things around the event, very similar to a food festival. So that's really smart. I think a lot of people are going to dig that. And it also gives you a great opportunity to try multiple things. Alrighty, well, I think that's going to do it for today's very quick Universal Studios update. I just mainly wanted to talk about the coaster in today's video, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, you can let me know by smashing the thumbs up button. And if you're new to the channel and you love these videos from Universal Studios Hollywood or some of your other favorite theme parks, well, you should consider subscribing because I have brand new videos every single week. And also be sure to check me out on Instagram and X. Those links will be down below in the description. Until the next video, though, I hope you have a beautiful day, morning, evening, whatever it is. And I'll see you next time in the parks. Bye.